Live from the Icebox Studio in Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania. It's the Bill and Corey Show. I'm Bill.
And I'm Corey.
Welcome back to another episode of the Bill and Corey Show. We had some good questions, a little bit different stuff this week.
Mm-hmm.
And we even got a little history lesson in there too.
Always great when history.
I like doing those. Hopefully it doesn't run on too long. And you won't.
And hopefully it's interesting.
And hopefully it's interesting. It's interesting to me. Hopefully it's interesting to you. Okay, the first question for 100. Can the 81-2 regulator be available with a CGA 600 for propane? Does it have a mounting bracket, or can we do it with a 53 series manifolds, the CGA 600? So.
Well, the answer to that is yes, we can do a CGA 600. So this is an example of what the cylinder might look like for the hydrogen, because this is a CGA 600 that you have to connect to. And this is the piece that we would put on the end of this. And so it would just be, we would have to either, I always look at it backwards.
Yeah.
So we just have to take this guy out. We'd probably put an extension on him a little bit.
Yeah.
He's a little bit short. And then we put an extension on him. And then the other question was, how do we mount it? Wasn't it part of it?
Yeah.
You would probably just screw it right on and carry it around with it attached. Just let it sit down.
These are
they're pretty small.
These are the kind of cylinders you'd find in the hardware store for propane.
Yes. Oh yeah, I have one of these at home. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you got those for a torch or just for like a camp stove.
A Coleman version.
Yeah, and we also do. You can get this one's for calibration gases. There's one laying around when they're tech support guys.
And one of the things to notice for these guys is there's a little needle that automatically comes up to, if you take, seal it off, and this one has a needle to push it down, sort of like a bike tire.
Yeah.
A Schrader valve style.
And what kind of gasket is on there?
This is a cork, a high quality cork gasket.
High purity cork.
High purity cork. Yeah. This was not for wine. This is better than wine cork.
Okay. Yes, we can, and it's an oddball connection, so we can do a lot.
Yeah. It is an interesting one.
And there's no gas in that cylinder, so don't worry about it. Not gonna gas.
We're okay. Yeah, nobody's smoking in here, so I'm not gonna light it.
Okay, this is the one with a history lesson to it. Can you recommend a regulator for argon fluoride laser gas? Adjustable between 6.5 and 8 bar.
We have. So
that sounds really cool.
Like we've reached the future with argon fluoride laser gas, I think.
But that's just it's a small percentage of fluorine in a argon mix for laser application.
Oh, so it's not actually a laser? We're not making a laser.
We don't make lasers here.
Okay.
But this question's really about. Yes, we do have regulators for. Fluorine mix regulator. We can use any of our stainless steel regulators. We can set it up for a CGA 679. It's limited to low percentages of fluorine, but kind of
less than 5%, right?
You can do 10%, 5% with a crossburr.
Yes, that's it.
But really, we want to talk about the pressure gauges on there. So. Yeah, don't put up the graphic yet. But we're going to talk a little bit about bar. Bar, it's a metric unit of pressure, and it's equivalent to 1 bar is equivalent to 100,000 pascals or 100 kPa.
You know what they call a bar in England?
What do they call a bar in England?
A pub.
So I guess yes. So I don't know if that's official metric stuff. Now a bar is slightly less than atmospheric pressure. Same as
which is so odd. It was always so odd to me.
But that's kind of a metric thing. Because it's based on metric.
But they could just call atmospheric pressure 1. Just call it 1 and make that the standard.
They didn't.
They don't have to call it 14.7.
Now the bar is equivalent to 14.5 psi absolute. Mm-hmm. Atmospheric pressure is at 14.7 psi. So it's close enough for. Now bar is from the Greek baros. I don't know if I got the accent right on that one, meaning weight. So it's kind of it's usually used a lot in atmospheric stuff because you think of the weight of the air, and it's a bar.
It's a bar.
The bar and the millibar were introduced by Norwegian meteorologist Wilhelm Bjerknes. I don't know how to, I don't know how to pronounce.
That's a good name.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
Wilhelm.
He was born in 1862, so if he was alive today, he'd be 160.
Is he alive today?
No, he's not.
Okay.
Today. He was a founder of the modern practice of weather forecasting.
Oh, wow.
Now, the Pascal actually turned 400 years old this month.
Ah.
He was born
wasn't
in
Johann
1623.
Johannes Pascal? Was his first name?
No.
What was it?
It's Blaise Pascal. He was a French guy.
Okay.
And he came up with, I don't know why he came up with why he did it, because Pascal is kind of a really large number for atmospheric. You're talking 100,000 Pascal.
Yeah.
It's 100 kilopascal. So, but that was what they did is that the metric people wanted to have when they came up with the metric system. And there were people who decided this stuff.
Those people.
those people. They wanted to base it on some actual things. So they like tying in grams and meters and stuff.
And they love
like
ones and zeros.
They love they love the decimals. They love the decimal system. The English don't.
Hey, for the record, I'm on metric side, okay? I'll fight anybody on that.
Okay. And we're going to convert to metric time, too. So a Pascal is a 10-gram mass resting on a 1 square centimeter area. That's that's how.
Oh, there's his name, Blaise.
Yeah.
Was he an American gladiator?
He was also a mathematician. He's got a triangle, Pascal triangle. He's got a Pascal line. He's I asked some guys that are really good at mathematics, I asked about Pascal last night, and they're like, yeah, I don't know about him. He's not really as good of a math person. He must have had a really good publicist.
I didn't know that because I
So,
know.
I'm sorry. Can you put the graphic up on the screen? I don't know. I was
we need
at
a
me.
better,
Okay, now we have the graphic up on the screen.
We need a better code word than can you please put the graphic up on the screen?
Okay. So the graphic, we got 2 gauges up there. One, because we had a customer that's got an order coming through that wants, that's actually the PSI one. So we typically do, most of our gauges are PSI on the outlet, outside in black, and inside would be kilopascals. Mm-hmm. So you see the 3,000 pound gauge will have, that's a lot, 20,000 kilopascals, which is a ridiculously high number. I don't know if you could ever have something that was a 1 Pascal pressure or something, and now the other gauge shows it's got bar on the outside. So it's a 200 bar gauge on the outside, and that comes around 3,000 PSI.
I know.
So you can kind of see the difference on there. I like bars of pressure because it's kind of like you can get a handle on it. Kilopascal, I really don't.
Yeah, you
You think 200 bars, 3,000 PSI, so that's kind of not good.
Taking a bold stance today, making Pascal worse than
Yeah.
bar.
And the metric stuff, I'll talk a little bit more about metric stuff. Now, when they were coming up with a distance measurement, we had the foot, which was measured off some king's foot, and that's kind of still, they must have mismeasured. 12's kind of big size. Mm. But they decided to try to think about, a meter's about a yard. So they were trying to think of a way to come up with something scientific that was about a yard, because that's a good measurement. So they figured out the circumference.
Rather than make a yard a meter, they didn't.
They didn't want to do that. They wanted to base it on something scientific. So they based it on the circumference of the Earth. So they calculated the circumference of the Earth, and it's pretty good. So it's like I forget what it is, 1/10,000,000th of the distance from the North Pole to the equator, measuring through a line of longitude through Paris. So they kind of figured that out, and that's how they came up with a meter.
It just seems way more difficult.
So the Earth was bigger, the meter would be bigger, or they would have made it some other number, round number, or something like that. So, yeah, or you can take the graphic down. So I think I got a little much there.
No, that was great. It seems like a lot of work for not a lot of reasons.
Yeah, the metric people wanted to do metric time and metric calendars, and it just didn't work out.
This is a favorite question of mine that I've gotten.
Yes. Oh, we get this quite often.
Which, and even if you don't know, even I was like, how could that work?
Someone wanted to have a CGA fitting, which we typically have with 1/4-inch pipe thread. Can you get it with 1/2-inch pipe thread on it?
No, you can't. That's a long story short. So this would be, this would be what we would give you to give you a.
Way around.
No, thank you. No wonder why it wasn't working.
You'd have a nut on there.
Yeah, you'd have a nut on there too. So this is what we would give you to bring it up to a 1/2 inch. And if you see, if we were to make the CGA 1/2 inch, not sure how much material.
Want to show it against the nut?
Even against the nut.
There wouldn't be much material on there.
There wouldn't be much material on there, and it would be pretty difficult to do it if we made this center 1/2 inch. So long story short, no, there are no 1/2-inch CGA fittings, but we can always just put a reducer, an enlarger. I call them all reducers, even when they're enlarging.
It's a bushing. It's a 1/2 bushing on there, and then you got Then you got it.
And then you got it, and it works like a charm, just like it had a 1/2-inch outlet, anyways.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully you took the graphic down. We've got to give them our special code. The next question, I kind of give a quick answer to it, is someone had one of our switchovers. They saw our switchover, and it's this big thing here, and we've shown it before. We don't really need to hold it up on there. I just put it down here. And they wanted to know if they could use it with a lecture bottle of sulfur dioxide. So this is a lecture bottle, and it's you would have a pound of sulfur dioxide in here, and that would be 6 cubic feet of sulfur dioxide.
What if they used a 6-pack of
a 6-pack of lecture bottle? Yeah. Then they'd have 36 cubic feet. Yeah, so it seems kind of funny. It's just there's a lot of reasons why it won't work, but our regular switchover is switchover pressure around 200 psi. And vapor pressure of sulfur dioxide is about 34 psi.
So just sit in the tank.
Yeah, it's not going to work. We can do, it's called a vapor pressure switchover, and it would switch over when the difference in the vapor pressure, in this case, would probably be about 10 psi.
Okay.
So with vapor pressure, it's going to be 34 psi until the liquid runs out, which would be pretty quickly. And then vapor pressure, then the pressure will drop. So if you had 2 isothermic cylinders at 34 psi, when one dropped to 24 psi, the other side would kick in. So it's a different kind of configuration on a switchover. I didn't have a model here to show you. So you could possibly do it, but your regulator pressure would be limited to, 15 psi, something like that.
And you'll be constantly changing cylinders.
Yeah. So I guess it'd probably be a low flow rate. But we wouldn't use a flex hose. It would just, you just have the CGA fitting on the end, hard piped in there, and you just just hang off there because it's not that much. It's 6 pounds total with 1 pound of product in it. So that's that. The other issue was he was looking at a brass switchover, and brass is not compatible with sulfur dioxide.
There you go. That's always a thing you got to keep in mind when material compatibility.
Yep.
The really odd ones are the ones that aren't compatible with stainless steel but are with brass. That happens occasionally.
Not really all that often.
I know it doesn't. I said it's odd when it does.
Yeah. This is yep. That's
the show.
That's the show.
Well,
That's all the questions for this week. I don't know if we got any questions typed in or not. Probably no. We haven't. Now
we got the code.
Next week I'm on vacation, and we're not set up to do a remote.
That would be. Imagine. I know you're at a mountain, but it'd be cool, like a beach background or mountain. Yeah, we should do. Oh, come on, Bill.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, he's thinking about it. You want to come hiking with me? Yeah, okay.
Well,
so
I'll come with you. We'll take all the show on the road.
Well, you can't operate the camera and stuff like that. So I'll be at least at 8,000 feet. So
the camera's not working that high.
So we're going to do a best of next week.
All right.
So we'll get a best of thing produced for next week. Corey can get more work done that Thursday.
We'll see.
We'll be back live. We'll have a show next week at 10. It'll be a best of. And then 2 weeks from now, we'll be back live for another episode of the Bill and Corey Show.
Set your VCRs.